Ja'Marr Chase was shooting the breeze with the Cincinnati media, and this is going to be one of this. I don't really love this as smack talk, but he talked about some maybe desire to jump into the dog pound, but some fear of doing just that.
Cleveland got good field. I like their grass field. I don't have no problem with their fans and nothing. I always wanted to jump into the dog pound. I've never did that, but I always wanted to. So I mean, Cleveland not bad.
Is that on the table?
No, I wouldn't do it. I heard they stab people in there. I'm messing with y'all, man. I'm a troll, bro. I do stuff to troll.
All right, so
he does do stuff to troll,
and so that okay. Now because he owned it at the end, it takes the bite out of it.
Yeah, it really makes the sizzle that the online community thought that it was. It really just kind of takes it out. Especially when you acknowledge that you're just trolling. What else do I have to do? But we know this about Ja'Marr. Ja'Marr for years has done this, and then he's made Joe Burrow have to be the one to be the adult in front of the room and stand up and kind of clean up his mess.
I just wish he was better at it. Either don't add the "I'm a troll, bro," or I don't know, just have better. Oh, I heard they stab people in there. And can we just get to the Cincinnati media, which I don't think that highly of, outside of gentlemen like James Rapine. Very fine journalist.
We love James. James is great.
We love James Rapine.
I like Mo Egger, too. I want that on the record. I don't love Mo Egger because I don't know him that well, but I like Mo Egger.
I'm merely in a situationship with Mo Egger.
Fair. I can't think of anybody else.
But the rest of them, what were those good time Johnnies laughing at? I just have people. You're right, Ja'Marr. They're the real trolls here.
I think they know that Jamar's a little crazy at times.
They laughed out of fear?
I think, maybe. They're just like, we know that Jamar's got a chance to he's a wild card of sorts. You laugh at his jokes.
Maybe it's because I'm not entirely good looking, or I was never a great athlete, or I was never really valuable to anyone. And so I've had to earn my laughs.
You're valuable to me.
And thank you, Truth Broker.
That's right. You know it's real when I say it.
I've had to earn my laughs and lack of laughs the hard ways. I hate when athletes have mid-ass jokes and these cornball media members. You got him there, Ja'Marr. They do stab people in Cleveland. It's like, you live in Cincinnati. Blow it out your ass.
Whoa, shots at Cincinnati? I hear it's lovely this time of the year.
Yeah, Northern Kentucky is very nice. The bluegrass
A lot of people talk high things about Cincinnati.
Yeah, because they're high. You ever been to Cincinnati?
Yes, I have.
Go 5 feet outside of the Kroger split. That's a great spot to get stabbed.
I thought their bar scene was really nice. I thought they built up a nice little downtown area.
Yeah.
People, they rave about Cincinnati.
If you go like 4 square blocks in Cincinnati, you're going to have a time of your life.
Oh, stop.
You go to the 5th block, Via con Dios.
Oh, jeez.
Now who's the Truth Broker?
I don't know. I thought Cincinnati was nice.
The funny part about this is I don't really care about what Ja'Marr Chase said because he copped to being a troll. It's the Cincinnati media joking about a mid-ass joke that it's like, you're going to stay your whole life.
I genuinely do think it's just because Ja'Marr, he says something every other week. He constantly shoots off his mouth, and then everyone else is left to clean up the damage. And so I think I don't know what the Bengals media was doing, but I know if I'm Joe Burrow, I look at it and go, yeah, I mean, I made sure they paid him a lot of money, and I have to stand by him, but he does this all the time. He's a troll. Think about it. He even trolled Joe Burrow. Like, they got the Madden 99 ratings, and Ja'Marr Chase got the 99, and instead of going up to Joe Burrow and being like, hey, isn't this cool? He's like, hey, Joe, you got one of these 99 Madden ratings? When he knew Joe Burrow did not have one of those 99 ratings.
He would if he didn't look like Slim Shady.
This is who he does. He does this with everyone.
So where do you stand on the Truth Broker?
Well, I mean, you're not getting stabbed if you jump into the dog pound. I didn't know people had a desire to jump.
You could get a Nurple, though. You could get one of those twists.
Well, so I didn't know it was like the Lambeau Leap where other players had a desire to jump into it. You know, like you see that all the time. If you have a touchdown at Lambeau, players are like, they're like jockeying and they're like excited to jump and do the Lambeau Leap. I didn't know the dog pound had that same allure.
When they first came back, before everyone just realized this thing is going south and it's going to keep going south. So, I mean, we're talking like, because I think it's hard for us to remember from like 99 to like 2008. While there were more lows than there were highs, there was so much more hope and there was so much more reverence for the Browns' history. And there was so much reverence for like the 80s Browns from like people outside of Cleveland that like you would get players trying to jump in there. And it did get dicey, but nobody got stabbed. And maybe got pinched real hard. Couple dudes, I think, took punches.
I've seen obviously Njoku. I've seen him jump into it. There are Browns players that jump into it, but I feel like it's been way less since they did that end zone where they didn't spell it right. And the Dawg Pound didn't become a mockery. It just kind of became a place that was a little less cool than what it once was.
I also think it would be the consistent losing.
Yeah,
I think that's hurt the Dawg Pound as well. We have already talked about Ja'Marr Chase's stupid ass comments, and which again, if you missed it, he went into the thing saying, "I don't want to jump into the Dawg Pound because I don't want to get stabbed," and then admitted he was trolling.
Cares about the Heat. He went after the Chiefs for like 3 years in a row. He went after Mahomes and the Chiefs and said all sorts of nonsense about that team and they're like, oh, they're going to use this as motivation. He's like, I'll put it in the locker myself.
Didn't he call it Burrowhead? Wasn't he the dodo that said that, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, because that would be I don't remember if that was him or not. I don't.
But that would sound, now that we've heard how dumb he can sound.
That also would be too pro Joe Burrow, which the other weird part about Ja'Marr Chase is that he kind of takes like every opportunity he can to kind of dismiss Joe Burrow, which is, it's a weird thing. Like even that 99 Madden rating that I've talked about, it's like you should probably hype up this guy a little bit. He just does, that man just does not care.
Now, speaking of hyping up a bit, today the coordinator spoke. You guys have heard some of Jim Schwartz's audio in Meredith's 2020s all day long, but Bubba Ventrone, special teams coordinator, with the quote of the century, when he said today that he's seen a culture shift this offseason, and this is the quote, I see it amongst the whole building. I think everyone's holding everyone more accountable, which, may I just say, is a wild and maybe reckless thing to say before you've played any games of note.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what accountability he's talking about here.
I'm imagining that this is a subtle shot that they don't have to deal with the Deshaun distraction, and I think maybe Deshaun was somebody that had a different standard to him, like we had the reports with Miles previously.
Deshaun's still around the team, though. It's not as if like Deshaun's away from the building in any sort of way.
But there's no way he's still getting superstar treatment.
No, but he traveled with the team to all the preseason games. He's still working out at the facilities. Like that's not. I mean, Deshaun's still very much around the Browns.
The only other one I could think of is Myles Garrett, and I don't know how that would be provable in August either.
No.
Especially because it sure seems like today might have been a vet day for Myles with a valid, but maybe not that valid injury.
Well, so what's interesting to me is that the only people that really can be held accountable this upcoming season, it's not like Joe Flacco can't be held accountable. He's here until he isn't. He's here until he loses games and no longer has a spot. Like, name me the players, because the people that are accountable to me is only really, it's guys like Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. I can't come up with too many players outside of Myles that you mentioned where I'm like, oh, that person really has to take on accountability.
All right. So this is not me thinking this player has to be held accountable, but it's from what they've said and what they thought about him in the pre-draft process. Could this also be about Shedeur Sanders? And Shedeur being a teachable moment for the rest of the building where they've made that guy earn.
That would be a weird comment if he's commenting on Shedeur in this moment.
Well, I'm just throwing out, like, I think last year was about Deshaun and last year was about Myles. But there's no real way to hold Deshaun accountable if nobody cares about him. And by the way, Myles, you're not suddenly changing and becoming tough on Myles. And the only other guy who I think people are worried about being a distraction is Shedeur. That's just why I offered that up, just trying to, at what point has Bubba been like, man, in that one special teams meeting, we really got after it?
I mean, is he just talking about the kicker situation? Is that all that is?
I think the point is, we're both grasping at straws.
For a special teams guy, though, that is a big deal.
Well, but he's saying, and what I thought was interesting, he said, I see it amongst the whole building.
Yeah, I don't know how he gets there.
And it's like, it's one of those things where if you end up, this is the typical thing that happens when coaches say stuff like this. If you end up being 10-7 and shock all the football world with CBS Sports saying your ceiling is a 5-win team, your floor is a 3-win team, this is something you can go back to and says, Bubba can say 15 weeks from now, I told you guys, more accountability. The problem is when everyone thinks you're a 3-5 win team or a 3-6 win team or a 5-7 win team, when you are 5-7 wins, or if you are a 5-win team, this will be something we remember 15 weeks from now as well.
Yeah, I wonder, like, should we be holding more people, the veterans on the offensive line, accountable? Because no one really blames them for any sort of bad things that have happened with the Browns. And it's not because of bad play; they just got injured. It's just odd. It's an odd comment to make right now.
I think there's a lot of aspirational thinking going on in Berea, and I don't mean this in a bad way. If you don't believe it, no one else will believe it. So the Browns have to believe it themselves, that they can be more than a 5.5 win team, which Vegas says they are. And so you have to talk like that. Now, the problem is that might have been what happened last year, and you ended up as a 3-win team. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is, we've got to reclaim the narrative. We've got to have a sense of urgency. We've got to be different than we were last year. So it's easy to just bash Bubba for this, and I have, and I will again. But I can understand if you're going for an aspirational line of thinking, and we're going to try and it's what I said about the Eagles, where the Eagles keep telling it. Oh, I didn't know the banner hangings on Thursday night. Oh, I had no idea. Oh yeah, that was last year.
Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts being like, I won't even wear the Super Bowl ring. I'll just put it away the moment I get it.
And so if it's real, that's power. If those guys really are, if they've all bought into 2024 is in the past and this is about 2025, the Eagles could be the rare team that can come back and run it back this year because they've got the talent to do it. But if it's aspirational, that's where you get into those cracks show very early, and I think that's where the truth will out with the Browns. If the Browns are really super competitive, and maybe they go 3-3 in these first 6 games, they shocked the world, right? Well, we can look back on this and go, oh, they just believed it. Whereas if you end up 2-4 or 1-5 or 0-6 in those first 6 games, we're going to go, oh, you were just wishing, hoping, and dreaming.
Yeah, but even just believing it can only take you so far. You can have 53 Tony Robbins in the locker room, and it just the talent part of it will still outweigh it.
By the way, that would be awful. 52.
He's not a tiny
53.
guy.
Well, no, I just meant from the 53 motivational guys.
Yeah, you
want like 4 motivational guys and 48 guys that need to be motivated.
Okay, maybe.
Fair?
Yeah, no, definitely fair. But you could have the greatest of great 4 motivators in the locker room, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. Like you can actually have everything set up properly and set up the exact right way in order to have this whole thing humming. And if the talent isn't there, the talent isn't there. That's why we brought up Ja'Marr Chase earlier in this segment. Ja'Marr Chase is a goofball. He's an absolute clown in many, many ways. Continues to be, always has been. He should be what fractures a team. But he's so damn talented, it doesn't really matter and doesn't really fracture the team effort.
If we go to the extremes on this, which it's been a week of extremes, but if we go to committed team that believes in the mission, and they're all on the same page, but that they're light on talent, I will bet on that team instead of a ridiculously talented team that doesn't see the vision, that doesn't like.
But I think right now we got a team that's light on talent, and then it's a question mark as to whether or not they could be that first part of it.
I think that's fair, and I think that's what the first 6 to 7 games of the year are, proving that either Bubba was right or that Bubba was just thinking wishfully.